Day 4 of the Washington BDR. We're in the town of Chelan. As you can see in front of me, they're the fighting goats, which strikes fear into the heart of all, I'm sure. We've lost Brad. He's got a leg injury. He's going to join us tonight. We've got a rest day the next couple of days. Actually, we're riding to Idaho tomorrow, but not on a trail, and then a rest day. So hopefully he'll be recovered and ready to go by that time. If you can see the temperature, it's 75 degrees. It's 6 a.m. right now. So gonna be another hot one. We're riding 2 sections, about 180 miles again, and we're going to get going pretty quick. Last look at Chelan Lake and heading out of town. Obviously we've climbed a long way already. Heading up into the mountains, still on the road. Looking forward to a great day. Thought I'd give you a quick look. We're still riding up in the mountain on the asphalt, obviously, and we've been doing little twisties like this for the last 10 minutes probably. Of course, as soon as I say that, the twisties straighten out, but a little bit of curve up here. Yep, like I said, we've been doing some pretty good twisties, and now it's kind of straightening out. But anyway, you get a look at what the canyon looks like and the approach to the first off-road sections. So now we've got a couple of little sharp twisties here, which are lots of fun on a bike like this. Alright, so we've gotten off-road. You can see there's still a little dust in front of me, so Jim's in front, and I'm letting him get a little bit further out so that the dust will settle. So this is the start of the off-road section of Day 4, Section 5 of the Washington BDR. We've started climbing very rapidly. So I thought I'd give you a quick view of where we've been out there, where we're going. You can see Jim maybe in the distance. A little bit of his dust here. This is just the other side of where I just was. You can see maybe a bike in the distance up there riding across that ridge, so obviously that's where I'm headed. You see Jim in front of me. The sun's rising. Fortunately, we'll be going, at least for the second, in the other direction, because we've been leaving real early because of the heat, and of course that puts the sun in your eyes first thing in the morning. A little accidental scenic overlook here. Heading back down the trail. Jim accidentally got off the trail. He's leading. Not trying to blame him, I'm just telling you what happened. And so this was a pretty tough uphill climb, as you'll be able to see, and that's why I'm breathing hard at the moment. Going back down, I met him. I thought I went the wrong way, and so I met him when he was coming back down. But you know, nice scenic overlook, so we'll say it was worth it, even though I've given you 37 views of that same thing already. pretty sandy, right? Come out to an opening, obviously going along this ridge here. Whoops, that rock was a little too big to go over, but I went over it nonetheless. Get a little bit rocky here. Well, apparently that was Cooper Mountain that we just climbed and descended, and now we're starting another ascent, although this may very well be on the same mountain. But riding a ridge again, we've picked up the pace just a hair, which certainly adds to the excitement level and the fear level. As long as it's hard pack and this light gravel that we're seeing here and light sand, I'm good. It's when that sand gets a little deeper or those rocks get a little bit bigger or that sand gets a little bit deeper, it's when we start getting into trouble. So the mountain, now when I say crested, you know, there's the top up there, but better watch what I'm doing. You know, got a nice, now this is all tree covered, and the mountains we've been seeing have, at least from my standpoint, have not been. They've been more dry, arid, not much vegetation. But again, I got to pay attention to what I'm doing. But Jason, Jim, the trail guy, Jason, who is very good at picking up motorcycles, by the way. Unfortunately for him, hill climbing and are onto some, you know, very nicely maintained roads. The problem is you can't, I don't know how hard it is for you to see on this video, but it's pretty hard to see with the dust on my visor. That's why I just opened it. As you can hear, I closed it back. The sun, you know, coming through the trees makes it really difficult. You get a second of visibility and a second of non-visibility, and so, and there also obviously could be traffic on a road like this. We're moving along, you see 47 miles an hour. So get a little bit more speed here, because this road's pretty easy. We are moving at a little bit faster clip today. Jim waited on me, so that's awful nice of him, just to make sure I was still back here. And I'll do the same for Jason. There he is. Gotten onto asphalt. Riding through this little community here. We're riding through a stream, or by a stream. Obviously in the valley, this is an interconnect to the next off-road section. Oh, there's the stream right there. That's nice. Little rock wall. I guess they blasted to make this road. There's a lady out walking. A morning stroll. It's nice being out in the country like this. Just seeing what's out here. Section here. It didn't last long, but the steepness of the shoulder was made it a little bit scary, so we're headed back off road now. We're onto the trail section, so I'm going to back off from Jim a little bit, let the dust settle. Okay, we're on a pretty easy forest road section here, so I thought, I mean, today is a lot easier than the other 3 days. As far as the difficulty of the terrain, and I just thought I'd give you a feel for that. I mean, this is basically a gravel road. It's hard packed. I mean, there's some washboards in it that beat you around a little bit, but pretty easy riding here. So we're just got off of that gravel road. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and somehow there's this asphalt road. So, well, it didn't last long. So, anyway, I was assuming we were going to see some houses or something. Well, now we're back to paved. Anyway, interesting landscape. Looks like they had had some kind of fire roll through here, because all of these trees are burned, although there's a lot of fresh growth up here too. So fire must have been several years ago. This is pretty. Little rocky valley. Hopefully we don't meet any cars coming the other direction. You just never know what you're going to see next, which is why they call it adventure riding. We're almost to the top of this mountain we're climbing. We're still on this paved section. Again, not exactly sure why it's paved, because all the other roads like this have been this hard packed gravel, but you still see the results of the fire. You can see over there we're in a pretty big, we're obviously not in the valley right now, but see a lot of mountaintops off in the distance. We're moving along about 45 miles an hour. It's 80 degrees and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. A little bit of a ridge here, a little bit of a scenic overlook. We're not too far from where those burned trees are, so fortunately it didn't burn everything. We're in the Okanagan National Forest, and when you're reading the sign, instead of paying attention to what you're doing, you run off the road. Well, that looks like some more burned trees there, so maybe it did come through here. Got some little twisties here. Back off the dirt road and onto pavement. These are really fun. Road didn't last very long. This is just probably 1 or 2 minutes after the last section of video. We're on a very wide, hard-packed road. Looks like we're probably going to climb over this mountain to my right, would be my guess, although it's not very tall, but we'll see what happens. Down at basically at regular ground level. We're not climbing, we're not descending, we're just riding along some 2-track road. Little sand, we've hit some rocks here and there, but in general this is easier, partly because you're not going up and you're not going down. There have been a couple of rockier sections that were rough to get up. I probably should have tried to video those. The problem is that when I see the rocky sections or whatever, you got to get ready and you got to get on it, and I don't have time to turn this thing on in the middle of all that. So apparently we were up some kind of hill. This is a pretty, I mean, it's pretty out there, but this is a tough descent. Rocky, very rough. Okay, well, let's smooth out a little bit now, so that's good. But here's an example of what I'm talking about. I could have gone around that, but I wanted you to see it if you can. Picking your line is critical. Okay. So Supposedly there's going to be some sand up here somewhere, but so far what sand we've seen has not been bad. To a picturesque little valley here. Got a little natural pond at the bottom, a little bit of marshland. We're down in the middle of wherever we are, and we've completed, or we're in the process of completing, the first section, and it is basically 11 o'clock in the morning. We left at 6, so 5 hours to complete the first section. It's 94 degrees now. So the second section is the shorter of the two today. Obviously going to be the hotter of the two also. But I think it may be quite a bit shorter than what we did this morning. So yeah, I'm looking, we did we did about 100 miles so far, and I think we've got about 70 to go, some of which will obviously be on pavement, and I think we're going to be pulling into the town that's at the end of this section right now. We're in Kankana. This is the Kankana General Store, and Jim and Jason are over there getting some gas. I got a bigger tank than they do, so I'm going to pass. So we're just going to take a quick break here in this town and then head out on the last section, which is section 6. Sitting Bull, and it was quite good. Conculi, whatever, is a little tiny little town. It's hotter than a pistol right now, and we're getting ready to head out for the last section, section 6 of this BDR. So if you can see right here, it's well, it said 102 degrees just a second ago. Now it says 100, but definitely warmed up. But you know, like I said yesterday, it's humidity in Chelan, or however you pronounce Chelan, was 10%. So yeah, it's hot, but it feels pretty darn good to me. Alright, so we're probably 5 miles outside of Conconnelly, and the road's getting more and more and more narrow as we go. It's still paved, as you can see, but entered this little forest area, so I thought I'd roll off a few seconds of video on this. It's pretty. It's a nice little forest here. We're back off road. We rode that asphalt probably 3 or 4 miles. Some big potholes in it, but we're back off road now, and again, this is the start of the last section. This is going to take us to the Canadian border, so it'll be fun. Riding a ridge, trying to give you a quick look at what we're seeing. Pretty, kind of got that Christmas tree smell again. So a lot of these, some of these are cedars, but some of them are, you know, the old, just like you'd have at Christmas time. So anyway, pretty nice area. A little bit, as you just now saw, a little rough, bouncing the bike around a little bit. Deep descent, rocky. You can see they cut this road out of the side of the rock. So I don't know to what degree you can tell on the video, but this is pretty darn steep. And Jim's taking a stop for a second. We were good. We'd been riding probably for 20-25 minutes, making sure we were good to go. Obviously a bunch of rocks have fallen off the side of this mountain. Taking a little bit slow. I'm in first gear right now. If you see that sign right there, it says avalanche zone, no stopping next quarter mile. So I'm going to video this whole thing since it's not going to be very long, just so in case there is an avalanche you'll have it on video as my last testament or whatever. Pretty cool. You can see some pretty big rocks down there that have come down from above. You see some trees that have been taken down with them. There's a good sized rock in the road. Don't stop. Okay, we won't stop. And my guess is that's the quarter mile. Obviously there's cattle up here somewhere or something, because there's a cattle guard. Another beautiful view. So we've on another ridge here, and give you, if you can see back there, that's where we came from. That's pretty cool. You know, they didn't build these roads for sightseeing, they built them for firefighting. But I guess you got no choice but to build them on a ridge, and that gives you really good views of the surrounding area. We've got about 45 miles probably to go, and it's 1 o'clock. So we ought to be done by 3, I would think, for sure. We're now on the other side. A lot of dead trees. So there was a fire obviously that came through here, because I've seen a lot of burned, there's some burned trees right there. I've seen a lot of burned trees, and must have happened some time ago, because you see the new growth, and you also see that a lot of those burned trees have now fallen, and they're all over the place. I see a bunch of them were cut down a long time ago. The good news is it gives you a more clear view of everything. If all those trees were up, you wouldn't be able to see anything. There you go. The peaks of these two hills, and down there you can see the road that I assume we're going down in a moment. Some switchbacks and whatnot. I don't think that's the way we came up, but hey, anything's possible. I believe that's where we're going. Well, no, that's a different road. One second, and we are going in that area. This is the area I was just showing you a second ago, so that's, you don't get too many views of where we're going because the trees are all in the way, but there you can see the switchbacks and whatnot that we'll be doing. It's for sure your Christmas tree farm. So I'm judging from this new growth, I'd say that fire was probably maybe 3 or 4, 5 years ago, something like that. Because you see this hillside, both up and downhill, are just chock full of No 8-10 foot tall trees, so would have been a great Christmas tree farm. Just finished climbing that mountain. We've crossed over to the other side. Got a nice view, not too many trees on the left, a few in front of us, but a little rocky terrain, not too bad. Don't want to get down that ditch. Now it opens up. I don't know how far we can see, but it's a long way. Just now went through a fairly high-speed section going 50 miles an hour for the most part. I thought I'd show you this little bridge and this little creek that we're crossing. So we're on a road that's been as wide as this, and so obviously we're moving along at a pretty quick clip. Can't see Jim, but you can see his dust. Some kind of fire over there. We'll obviously hope it's not some kind of forest fire, but it's a fire nonetheless. It's not a very big one, at least at the moment. And the trees certainly don't look close enough together right now. Now you get a good view. It's straight in front of us, if you can see it. Trees certainly aren't close enough around here to, of course, it could be a grass or brush fire, I guess. It is, let's see what the temperature is. It's 99 degrees right now at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's a touch warm again, although it's so much cooler than it was. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like 99 degrees is hot, but when it's 8, 9, 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday, then you can tell the difference, and it certainly makes it more pleasant. We're in full sunshine, that's for sure. And here's where this is an awesome view. Just we're whatever 300-400 feet, 500 feet above the valley below. That's pretty spectacular. I'm going to turn back around to see if we can see anything as far as this fire goes. I mean, you can see it's black. So what kind of fire it is, who knows? I mean, there's houses and whatnot down there, so it could be some kind of house fire or something like that. Who knows? Where we came from, that road right there, and then there's the fire, obviously, and valley going off that way, valley going off that way. This is really, really gorgeous. I'm guessing we're 400 feet above the plain down there into that valley I showed you a second ago, and I just thought this was kind of a fun little look here. That is a very steep embankment, so you do not want to go off of that. The bike for sure would not survive. I expect I would, but that could get ugly real quick. It's a brush fire for sure. Going up the mountain. Here is the fire truck, I assume. Yep. And by the way, oh well, it says 102 now. It said 106 the last time I looked down, which was 60 seconds ago. So whichever one it is, it's hot, and that is a sure enough brush fire on the side of that mountain. Again, they call it adventure riding for a reason. We're headed to the Canadian border. You can see where it started down here, and then the wind's blown it up there to the side of the hill. Hopefully they'll get it contained pretty quick. There is the Canadian border in all its glory. I don't think we'll be crossing. I've got my passport, but I I think we're just going to pull up to it and turn around. But I'm at the Washington Canadian border. That back there is the Canadian border. We're riding away from it at this point. Really cool valley we're in here. We'll see if the fire's gone when we go back by that town. If we do, little log cabin, if you want to live there. It's 107 now, so I said earlier it's 99, but we were still up in the mountains, so my instrument cluster says 107 degrees right now. The Canadian border is the end of the Washington BDR, so we have successfully completed the Washington BDR, and tomorrow we'll be taking the interconnect to the northern terminus of the Idaho BDR and taking a rest day, and then we'll start the Idaho then.